Righto, welcome back to the Four Wheel Drive podcast. That was music by the Southern River Band, we think. We'd Let It Ride. The Four Wheel Drive podcast on Instagram, all the episodes over on Backchat's YouTube. And thank you to our patrons again for all the support. Flying in numbers, Jaden, aren't they?
Flying in numbers, mate. We're living it up on Patreon.
Now, what are you doing here again?
I just thought I'd help you out because we've got
There's
quite a good
voice?
guest.
Just another voice in the background
quite a
there?
good guest coming in. I thought I'd help you out, seeing as I did the entire run sheet
Yeah,
while
you
you're
were good
busy
at it last
gallivanting around doing footy stuff.
Yeah, footy stuff.
Or drinking, or I don't know what you're doing. It's off season,
more
isn't
that,
it?
yeah, the latter.
Yeah.
It actually was.
Right.
But we were joined by Harry Fisher, Fire to Fork, mate. Thanks for coming along. You've actually featured on this show before, but never in the hot seat.
Yeah, I've listened to a few episodes, and it's not that many in between where I don't get a mention.
I think you're
all the 76 stuff, all the Grenadier stuff, just seems to be
multiple times your name just pops up.
There's a lot of people who don't realise that I've been friends with Ronnie for 10 years this year. It's like long before I started any of this stuff. I've known him, like we didn't meet through social media.
Yeah.
We met in person full driving.
Yeah, right.
And been doing trips ever since. He was the one who convinced me to start Fire to Fork.
Right. And he couldn't even join us here today.
No, so I'm so glad he's not
he heard
here.
you were coming in.
Yeah. No, we actually might get a real honest review of,
Yeah, of Ronnie.
no one will have to be too nice to each other as we're...
Well, I remember talking to Ronnie about this, trying to get some info.
Oh, yeah.
And he was more than open to giving it. He
just
says you've got a lot of dirt on him, though.
Hang shit on me, yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
did- yeah,
he
he
was
did admit.
reluctant, wasn't he?
He did admit that you had a lot
A lot.
on him as well.
I
so
do, yeah. I've got 10 years of stuff on it.
We,
So,
we
yeah.
don't, we
Might
don't
be
want
a
to keep going
podcast
on.
about just ripping into Ronnie.
There was one thing and the other thing I wanted to say is you did feature. Is I reckon you flew past behind the camera and jumped on the mic at maybe the Perth.
Oh, yeah.
Almost
Almost certainly. I usually do that.
Yeah, so I was like,
just butt
I
in.
don't think we actually have seen you as well on the show before, but mate, it is a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for this.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it last time. I ended up with a sick kid, so I pulled out at the last minute, which is useless.
No, that's fine,
No,
mate. We
fine.
yeah, we're here every week. So anytime you want to pop in, it's no stress.
Well, initially you were like, "Do you want to come in at 6 a.m?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. No, I already have two toddlers. I'm sick of waking up at
Yeah,
6."
actually, that's a good point for viewers. It's not 6 a.m.
It's
in the
not
morning.
6 a.m. anymore.
It's
No,
actually,
we can have
it's
a 10.
Closer to
We
6
can.
p.m. Yeah.
And we are.
It's nice. It's
Well,
relaxing.
you're not.
There you go. What do you
Shout out
pick there?
Shelter.
The haze.
Shout out Shelter.
Good old Shelter.
Hazy IPA,
Miss
which is basically my favourite type of beer.
Beautiful.
Great.
You are a bit of a beer connoisseur, actually.
I am. I'm a craft beer wanker.
No, I don't think that's. I actually would have said you were, but I'm not going to say as I've got older, but I've developed a taste for the craft beer myself.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any wankery about it.
No, I tend to agree. I think your palate just develops. It's kind of like when you first try wine and you're like, oh, I like red, or whatever.
Well, I don't.
And same
not
with
at all.
food, obviously. And I drink the beers that go well with the food I'm eating. I don't it's not just like a one size fits all.
Yeah.
It also depends on weather. Really, really stinking hot day, cracking an export in a tinny is unreal. But if it's a cold, wintry night, I love something dark.
Yeah, right.
Porter or a stout or something like that. So yeah, I think it really depends on the environment and where you are and all that kind of stuff. So I think I don't think there's a one size fits all.
Yep. And you're now we can cut this out, I suppose, if it's not.
No, we're not cutting anything
if it's
out,
not
mate.
ideal.
Like I said at the
Colonial.
start.
Yeah, they've rebranded to CB Co, which
Yep.
stands for Colonial Brewing Co. So
Yep.
they've big rebrand.
Yep. Okay. CB. Yep.
They
One
got
of the biggest.
cancelled apparently because Colonial's offensive.
Okay. Yes.
The woke police came after them.
Right.
Which they kind of did a bit of a piss take of a rebrand.
Right. So, see,
It's kind of funny.
They were like, yeah, we've completely changed.
yeah.
New company.
I mean, come on. The word colonial is not. It's just not that bad. Is it? And they were founded in 2000. I was like, it's not like
Yeah, right.
not like they're some ancient brand. They just
Have you been with them for a while?
got started with them in 2020.
Yep. Yeah. Righto.
But I've been drinking their beers forever. So
Yep.
So do you
that
have
worked well.
Do you have when you're going out and you're cooking food, do you bring all the kind of different beers that you want to pair with that?
yeah, absolutely.
that meal?
I have a lot of fridge space.
I've heard you bring a lot of tinnies.
I do, and
We heard that's what your caravan's actually for.
I only restock my fridge about every third or fourth trip because I just fill it and then I never get through anywhere close to what's in there. I'm just lazy. I'm like, yep, cool. I'm gonna throw like, you know, a good couple, 2 or 3 cartons in there or something, and then like everyone drinks my tins, and like, because there's just so many of them in my office.
So you're cooking for everyone when you go on these trips.
I don't cook every meal, but I'll always cook a meal for everyone.
Right.
So I'll usually say to people, fend for yourself for breakfast and lunch.
Yep.
Or fend for yourself for dinner. And I'll definitely cook a big meal for everyone a day.
A day. Okay.
day.
I was just
So usually a dinner.
Sometimes 2 a day. So
Do you enjoy? We'll dive into a bit more on it. We jump straight into beer and cooking here. But,
Yeah.
Go on, Rogue.
do you enjoy that part of it too? Like going out with it, whether it's family, mates, or just, you know, a crew that you're camping with. Do you enjoy that part of cooking for people, even if it's not filming? You enjoy cooking, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, there are days when I really cannot be asked.
Most days for me.
Long day in the saddle, and I'm just like, oh, I cannot be asked. But travel days, they're the days that I don't really feel like cooking.
Right.
So if I've just done a long day driving, so like actually when I travel with Ronnie, for example, when he drives every day, I'm the exact opposite. I'll do a long day, get somewhere, I'll get dinner at the pub on the way, pull into camp, do nothing, wake up the next day and be like, all right, we have all day. If you have all day, cooking's fun.
Yep.
If you are trying to squeeze cooking in between tons of other activities, I make cooking activity, and I make it a show as well.
Yeah.
Like, as in, I do elaborate stuff that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know when you're sitting around camp and someone's trying to do something extravagant and everyone's involved. Everyone's like, oh, no, I reckon you just like lift it up a little bit. No, there's not enough heat on there, man. No, that side's burning. And, you know, everyone's watching intently because it's fun to watch. And that's where I thought, well, I should probably start recording this.
Yeah. We've done a good job of that.
Yeah, it seems to have worked a little
I
bit.
don't know if I was sitting around, I don't think I'd be giving you advice on how to cook.
Well,
Oh, no, but
Just sitting
that's
there
the
watching.
thing. I'll get distracted and go and do something else. And then someone's
it's
like, oh, that's
Harry,
burning.
hey, mate.
Yeah, like,
no,
ooh.
it's actually fine, mate. I do this all the time.
It's funny though that Harry says that, because you like that, translating that into maybe I should film this and people so people aren't actually sitting around that fire with you watching you cook anymore. They're sitting behind their screen, watching that,
Or in
and
work toilets.
wherever, anywhere these days. But I find myself not doing the same, obviously, and saying but like I just love being, and I've spoken about this on this show with all sort of YouTube videos, camp and cooking. But it's like now I'm enjoying watching you cut onions for some reason.
Yeah.
And you talking a little bit of, you know, shit behind the camera too. But why am I enjoying this now? But the way that you've seamlessly just transitioned that into for everyone, it's been bloody good to watch, because I actually, you know, I don't like cooking.
Yeah.
But I like watching your videos.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
The two I get is I don't even cook, but I watch your videos.
Yeah.
Because it's still like a bit of escapism and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
In the same way that I don't do any woodwork, but I'll still watch like a cool woodworking video, or rug cleaning videos or something like that. Lock picking videos.
Just nice on the eye.
Lock cooking videos, I can get around those, yeah.
Exactly. But it's still sort of satisfying, and you can convey a lot of different things if there's an underlying format. It's kind of like I know you don't have socials, but you do, and you know you'll see those things and it's got like a voiceover and it's just got like kind of satisfying images being played, and you're like, oh, okay, I get why they're doing that now, because it's just easier. Yeah. And I think that's a bit of what I do. And the other thing I get a lot of is guys saying their missus it's the only like camping show their missus will watch.
Oh, right.
Because it's kind of, it's not forward driving.
Because you're hot.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just thirst trap.
That's why he's got the feet out all the time, mate. On any feet type thing.
A little bit of ankle cleavage.
This is already too much fun. But just a little bit. So for people that don't know, and I'm sure there wouldn't be too many listeners to our show that probably aren't across what Harry does. But
if you've listened to us, you've heard his name come up.
You know who he is, and this is the face. But
yeah.
So you're a father, husband, dog dad.
Yep.
So that's part of the big reason people probably watch your channel too, is for Fred.
Fred the cow.
He's huge.
You started in the corporate world. Might touch on in a little bit, but your most recent video, which was a cracker, because you took us back to the spot where it all started for what you are now in what everyone sees. So it's the number one cookbook in
It's the number one outdoor cooking
outdoor cooking book.
So that covers any barbecue book.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
that's what's wild. I thought maybe
That's huge,
I could
yeah.
maybe get top 10 in like fire cooking.
Yep.
But no, and then I was like maybe kind of high up in camp cooking. So it's fire cooking. I'm number 3 in the world,
Right.
which is insane to me.
Massive, mate. Yeah.
Didn't know there was a genre for fire cooking.
Yeah. So it's like, there's a guy in the US, Derek Wolf. He's got about 5 million subscribers. So he's number 1. Number 2 is Guy Fieri, and number 3 is me.
There you go.
Jeez.
That's huge.
So that's wild.
That's
Yeah.
massive.
That's in fire cooking, and then in camp cooking in Australia, that's the bestseller, and
Yep.
and then broader than that is outdoor cooking, and
Yep.
it's been number 1 for 2 years. So
It's unbelievable.
Does that feel real to you?
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, but then when you see how many books we've sold, it's just insane.
Yeah.
People love it.
Yeah. So I sent book 2 to the printer.
Oh, yeah. I was going to
last
ask.
week.
Yeah, right. Did you?
Yeah.
There you
Wow.
go. That's a nice little scoop for everyone to get excited about.
I
Is
reckon.
this
When is this going to come out?
This week.
Okay. The week after this comes out, pre-orders will be open.
There you go. That'd be interesting to see how you go, mate. Because one thing like we noticed at the shows was how busy yourself, Ronnie, anyone at those big shows, how busy they are. If you're a bigger name like yourself, but like your everything of yours just off the shelf. Like your poor mum, she was inundated with people.
I'm going to have
flat
more
chat.
stuff this year because the new book will. I mean, I remember when the first book came out. It was just before the show.
Yeah,
Man, we got pumped.
yeah.
Like thousands.
Did you have enough?
No, we ran
Nah,
out.
done.
Yeah. I think we brought 1,000 copies and we ran out like halfway through day 1.
Right.
So halfway through day 2. We ran out Saturday morning. And I was
Wow.
like, damn it.
And you wouldn't
nice
be
payday.
expecting that to sell that many books.
Nah.
Books as well. That's what I love. Books too. Like
but cookbooks seem to be the only book that sells.
they keep going.
And also, like, it's a fun thing to flick through by the
Yeah.
campfire.
Yep.
I do it. You know, it's like you used to flick through like four-wheel drive action magazines and stuff by the campfire. You know, but yeah, cookbooks, outdoor fire cookbooks, I think work for that.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
a beautiful cookbook as well.
Thanks.
The
It's nicely
photos,
done.
yeah.
So that's the
Everything it
photos.
makes you that hungry.
I'll
It does.
I'll
I
give you a flick through book 2, which is called Fire 2 Fork, by the way.
Yeah, had to do that. It's beautiful.
Don't mind that.
Fire 2.
I wanted it to be TWO, but it's Roman numeral 2.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I think the next one's have to be called like Fire 3 Fork. or
Yes.
something. I was
Yeah.
thinking a fork with 3 prongs.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Is that a
Like-
fork? Isn't that a trident?
Yeah, I guess so.
Fire 2.
It's still a fork. It'll work.
I'm
not across my fork
I've eaten food with
terminology.
3 prongs forks, I reckon, before.
Yeah.
Little dessert ones have 3, I
A little
believe.
escargot.
That's
forks.
true.
Yeah. Escargot.
we're getting bogged down in the wrong topics.
Escargot,
I
yeah.
never knew that.
How are you saying it?
Oh, it's escargot.
No.
Oh, come on, mate. You got to pronounce things correctly.
Yeah, I know.
Which, by the way, apparently it's Delica. Got told.
No, it's
Oh, no.
Delica.
No, it's
But
not.
in Australia, it's Delica. So the Japanese who make the bloody thing call it a Delica. So you were correct by saying Delica, but it is in Australia we all just call it Delica.
Oh, okay. So I'm
Okay,
happy to
so
call
I'm
that one
correct.
even and
Yeah,
split.
okay. All
In the
right.
same
You
way
still
that
got
it's not
Morton.
Subaru, it's Subaru. It's not Nissan, it's Nissan.
Ah.
Those are the correct
Yeah,
pronunciations.
yeah,
And
okay.
that's, funnily enough, the Americans actually pronounce it correctly, which is weird.
Right.
I'll cut that bit
Is
out.
there is there another way to say Ford?
No.
Okay. At least I got my own car right.
I said that wrong.
Ford.
With a more R.
All right, we could go
Jeez.
anywhere here, but I will keep it on track just for now. So yeah, that your recent video, and encourage people to go and watch that. But it's a nice moment, I think. Like it seems to me, and I won't spoil it for people so they can go and have a look. But it actually looks quite emotional for you in a way that it's not like you're tearing, but it's like it just a cool feeling, because if you can touch on briefly what it was to get to that moment for you in your life. And then obviously the gratitude that you felt towards, the people out there that have been a part of it, whether it's purchasing, watching, just being involved some way. Like, how did your life amount to that moment on that book, the cover?
It hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
When I got there.
It's a cool watch.
So all my friends were like over to the side, they're just like sinking tins and by the fire and
Yeah,
whatever.
just another
So
good spot.
they're sort of like 80 meters away from me.
Yep.
And I've set up the camera, lined it up so that it looks like the cover of the book. And I've gone and like looked around and I was like, oh, I remember this 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, this publishing company, Exploring Eden Books, had approached me and said, hey, do you want to write a book? At the time, I had kind of just started Fire to Fork videos.
Yep.
Cooking videos. Before that, I did other videos. We did Fire to Talk, which was like sitting around the campfire, I'd interview people.
Yep.
This kind of thing.
Yep.
But at a campsite. And first ever guest was Graham Cahill, which was very lucky.
Not a bad guess.
Yeah. Anyway, I was sitting there and it just sort of hit me. I was like, wow, this photo actually did completely change my life. It's a great cover. Lady named Grace Picot shot the cover and I knew the book would sell. I didn't think it, I was kind of hoping for it to be, we were hoping for 1,000 pre-orders and we got 8,000. In the first month, and we were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And this little tiny publishing company was like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Are they?
Whole, like 2 houses filled with books. Like,
Yeah.
just no idea what to do.
How big was how big were you at the time?
Oh, maybe 40K,
Right. Yep.
if that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is
no,
that YouTube
about
across
40K.
everything.
No, that was just YouTube.
Yep.
So probably 100K across everything.
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
thing.
Yep.
Bit less than half of what I am now. And then, yeah, so like but the book sales were not indicative of my social media following.
Yeah.
They were just wild. It just sold
Yep.
itself.
Yep.
Most people, when you go into the shops and you say, a lot of the shops will ask, oh, do you follow his YouTube? And they're like, no, just a cool looking book.
Yeah.
So it just sells on the shelves.
Yep. Catch the eye.
Yeah. Like BCF can't keep the thing in stock.
Right.
Which is a great problem to have.
No complaints.
No. Yeah, so I sort of was sitting there and I'm just going like, wow. At the time I remember having very little money. I was living off my wife at the time. So I'd quit my corporate job and we'd moved up to Broome for a year and I was like, well, I'll take a year off corporate because I'm not going to get a corporate job in Broome.
Yeah.
They give her a pay rise. She's a doctor. So they gave her a pay rise to move to Broome. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. We got a free house from the health department. I didn't need much money. We were doing fine.
Yeah.
Like between us, we were doing totally fine. I felt self-conscious because I wasn't making much money. Anyway, so I had all these like tourism gigs lined up and it was 2020. So of course COVID hits,
Yeah.
tourism's dead. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to not do tourism stuff. And she was like, well, just why don't you start making YouTube videos in the backyard? And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I started making YouTube videos and that went really well. But again, we didn't really need much money. So I turned down any sponsorship offers I got. I just turned down all of them that year.
Yep.
And as a result, I made very little money.
Yep.
But what it did was it allowed the channel to grow to a point where I could accept sponsorship offers that weren't screwing me.
Yep.
And because I'd been fussy to begin with, I was able to partner with a very small number of very good companies
It's almost by design
that allow
now.
me to
Yep.
actually do the stuff I want to do.
Yep.
And then it also allowed me to write the book because I wasn't screwing around with sponsorship offers. I was writing a book. And it made me realize that actually the best thing to do for me is to concentrate on being able to sell books and make that my main business because that means that my main purpose is to give good advice. So if I'm giving good advice, people are going to watch the channel more, you're going to sell more books.
Yep.
And that means you don't have to do stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
it's
kind
an
of
awesome story. Do you miss the corporate world now at all?
no, not at
at all.
No. So I did 8 years of corporate finance, receiverships, administrations, that kind of stuff. Like pretty hectic. Then I was
You did a quadruple major?
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. investment finance, corporate finance.
And here I am saying escargot.
Entrepreneurship and innovation and management.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, I was general manager of a software company about 200 meters away from here.
Oh, right. Yeah. There you go. Full circle.
And then now I drink beer by a fire
Yeah, it's not bad.
and drink beer on couches and
me.
talk to footy
which is
players.
quite nice. What? So does that background in corporate stuff, does that help you with sponsors and landing sponsors or dealing with sponsors? And
It helps me structure the business better. So little things, like I obviously don't want to go into too much detail, but little things like affiliate deals, right? So everyone is like, oh, use my code to buy this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's very in your face and it gets a bit, okay, like let's try and tone this down. I've structured that completely differently. So where I get kickbacks for stuff people buy, but I do it through retailers so that I don't have to choose the item.
Right.
I'll just do it through, like a bunch of retailers give me affiliate deals, which means I just go and buy the thing myself and then use it. And if it's good, I'll put it on my gear page.
Yep.
So it's nothing to do with a sponsor pushing me to do it or anyone pushing me to put something on my gear page. I'll just do it. And then because it's good, I'll recommend it to people. And then in order to not have to answer 10 million emails, I put it on my gear page. And then people click it and I get a small percentage of that. But whereas a lot of creators will do it the opposite way where they go, oh, sponsors give me this and they've said every time I sell one, they'll give me 10%. Now I want to push it so that I can sell more. I've gone the opposite way. I'm like, no, I'll figure out what's good and then recommend it and then you can get a cut off that.
Yep.
It's just like a few little structuring tweaks that I think have helped. And then also when I do actually speak to companies that I will accept a sponsorship from, and so I get, for reference, I get offered about 3-4 sponsorships a day.
Right.
So over 1,000 a year.
A bit licking me lips.
And I accept maybe 2 a year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you'll see at the end of the videos there are 5 sponsors.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
And so it's OXO, all the cooking gear I use,
Yep.
Osprey, the other cooking gear I use,
Yep.
Zippo lighters. Been using them for 25 years.
Yeah.
So that was an obvious fit.
Yep.
Cub campers, for obvious reasons. It's what
Yep.
I tow. And Kaon, which is half the gear in
Yep.
my car.
Yep.
So
I love that.
again, like all really good sponsors that I don't have to try. I don't have to do anything.
yeah.
All I give them is extra content. So I have zero requirements to mention anything. Zero requirements to push anything.
Yep.
And again, they're all good fits.
Yep.
But it means that my content is not impacted by sponsors.
Yeah.
And it's, again, so important to me, just that it stays natural.
Well, I think that's sorry.
No,
What was
there's
it?
bugs
I
So I
reckon.
can sell more books.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all, but I love that. That's
you're not having
by
trouble there.
design. And you took that that was probably
Got him.
half. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Thanks. You've been pissing me off all day.
There's another-
It's probably half a risk. Like when you were doing those in the backyard in Broome,
Yeah.
like that would have been hard. I'm just putting myself in that position, and you'd already made a start on what you were doing, but
Yeah.
it would have been hard, I reckon, to back yourself in a bit like that, and
Say no.
and just oh yep, there it is, handshake, bang,
Yeah.
we're on.
Yeah.
Because now you've been able to sort of pick your own path.
Yeah.
Who that is, and be selective and match with people and companies that work well with what you do and almost what you were using already anyway.
Yeah, yeah. It's absolutely been. It was pretty scary to begin with.
Yeah.
Like I had the gear page and I had like a tiny bit of affiliate income, but yeah, and I didn't sell any merch. I just didn't have much. I just kind of thought, I'm pretty good at business. I guess I'll figure this
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And then I kept getting all these crappy offers. The only thing I did was I did a handful of photography gigs.
Right.
Which had nothing to do with the channel. I was just in a beautiful environment and they were like, hey, can you photograph some
Gotcha.
things for us? And I was like, yeah, sure. It's XYZ. Hell, I photographed the Broome Shopping Centre.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Or for like their
place.
marketing, like
Yeah. Their marketing thing.
Have you got any background in photography?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
do,
I
right.
used to work as a photographer at uni.
Okay, right.
I've done a few weddings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I did the photography for the local Mulberry Daycare Centre. Whatever.
I actually had my camera out down south this weekend, but no one asked me to come and
No.
photograph Caves
Yeah,
Hotel.
see,
but-
you haven't structured yourself in the right
No, I
way,
mean-
mate. See, Harry's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
You're just a bloke with a camera.
I just play footy.
That was funny, actually. When I first met you, I was like, so what do you do for a job? And he's like, I play footy. And I was like, not a real job.
It's actually not.
Which is
I've
funny
no
because
idea.
as far as people with not a real job, I drink beer by a fire.
Well, wait.
And I was like, yeah, not a real job. And then I Googled him and I was like, okay, he plays footy.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time on my hands, but no, that's funny. Because I don't think it is a real job, though, in saying that.
They're the best jobs, though. Not real jobs are the best jobs.
Yeah, definitely. I don't work a day in my life.
Yeah. That's it. Do you ever, like, because have you had a real job?
No, I was drafted just before I turned 18, so
Yeah,
not
right.
properly. No, I worked
Yeah.
2 shifts at the local pub when I was like a very illegal.
Yeah, right.
13.
Because I've still got this feeling in me that's like, I'm waiting for my old boss to like call me and go, all right, mate, holiday's over. Come back into the office. Like, you know, your bank account's empty. Like, it's still weird to me. And I'm
You've
like,
used all your leave.
wait a minute. How am I making money? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's still weird that I can just, there's money in the account. And I'm like, where does it even come from? Because I don't work.
So speaking of your money maker, which is, I'm going to say you might have a different opinion here, but I'm going to say it's your cooking. Because I think at the crux of it, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
fire cooking.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
Where'd that come from? Like, how'd you learn? Are you a chef too?
No, accountant. My mum's a chef.
Right.
Yeah. So I
And you
always ate well.
Yep.
My dad's Zimbabwean, so he always cooked on a braai.
Right.
So you're not a man if you cook on gas in Zimbabwe.
Right. Okay.
You have to
Jeez,
cook
I
on
don't-
charcoal or wood.
A couple of boys
I'm
over
a
here.
little boy.
It's just how it was. Like
Yeah.
a braai is
cool.
literally just a pit with a grill on it.
Yep.
And so that's just how everyone cooked. So I grew up camping and four-wheel driving and stuff, and then at the end of the day, we'd always have a fire.
Yeah.
I remember when we went to Karajani when I was like 12, and they were like, okay, I'm not allowed to have fires. And I was like, "Pfft. Yeah, come on. And I just went and lit a fire. And they were like, no, you're actually not allowed to have fires. I was like, you're joking. Why are we here? We left the next day.
yeah, right.
I was like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
My mum's there with the gas cooker, and I'm like,
Not right, mum.
what? What? Camping is fires.
Well, you must get trapped in places where, because you don't use a gas cooker,
No.
you must get trapped in places where there's a fire ban, or somewhere in the Pilbara where you light a fire and something goes wrong, you're burning half the Kimberley down.
Yeah, but not if you. I mean, you plan your trip, right? Before you go, you know what you're doing. You know what time of year it is. If it's January, then I'm not going to the Pilbara. I'm going to Denmark to the family farm, and I check the fire danger rating because that particular shire you can have fires.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's sort of how I work it. Is I just make sure that I can. I've been caught out once, and there's a video on it. Lucky Bay, Kalbarri. I did check, and on paper it was all fine. And then I got there, and it was like no fires. And I was like, shit.
What'd you do?
I cooked on a gas burner, and I made a video. Of
Oh, actually, I've
the
seen
piss
that.
out of myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I realized I was like, oh my
I've
God,
seen
I'm
that.
doing a vegetarian meal on gas. I am a disgrace. This is
The opposite
everything
of
I.
everything.
It's like, it was delicious, by the way, but it was like, it was the most disgraceful performance by me.
Lost a few subscribers that day, I would have thought.
No, people were very.
You would have been hounded too on
Destroyed in the comments.
that. I know. I don't want to go too deep into like the YouTube stuff now as well, because that
Yeah.
you have done that plenty of times. But how do you go with all of that in terms of interaction, feedback, your life being quite public in that sense that everyone has their say on what you do?
I think after a while you stop giving a shit what people think.
Yep, good way.
Because you have to. If you took everything to heart, you wouldn't be
in the game still.
No,
Yeah.
you can't do it. I have a couple of things I remind myself of. One is Never take criticism from someone you wouldn't seek feedback from.
Yep.
Which means if a random stranger comes up to you and goes, "You're a dickhead," you go, "Okay."
Yep.
If they don't know who you are, then you just ignore them, right?
Yep.
And that's what a commenter who you don't know is. And the other one is, imagine if it was someone else's channel and you were sitting next to that person, how would you react to that comment? So and a great technique, if you are sensitive to comments, is read them with a friend. Because if you read them with a friend and they just piss themselves laughing as they read the comment, you feel so much better.
Yeah, that's good advice, actually. I've never heard of that.
So initially they used to get to me. And look, occasionally someone will make a really good point.
Yep.
And I go, "Oh, can't argue with that. The
Yeah,
logic's
yeah,
sound."
yeah.
And you learn.
Yep.
But if they make it respectfully and nicely and you were wrong, you're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I learned from that." And I'm very happy with criticism. That's fine. Constructive criticism is not an issue
Yep.
for me. Straight out abuse, I'll ignore you.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yep.
And in fact, I feel really sorry for the people who are abusing people because I've never got angry at anyone on the internet while I was in a good mental space. And I've never been one to like, troll people on the internet
Yeah.
or
We should put it out there.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never been angry at anyone on the internet while I was feeling good.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
a good point.
Yeah.
When you first started, did you find it difficult to put yourself out there? Because you're showing something to people that you're cooking with that's quite, I don't know, I guess personal.
Not really. I'm very extroverted, and I'm not overly private because I don't really feel like I have anything to hide.
Yep.
So it doesn't really bother me too much. And it also came about incrementally. Started with just Instagram. It was just images, then stories, and then you do the occasional little video, and then it was cameo. Initially, it was just cameos in Ronnie's videos.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and Alex from Intense, his videos. And then, so yeah, it all just came about like slowly, and then it kind of sneaks up on you, and then all of a sudden people are recognizing you in the street and all that kind of stuff. It's the thing I don't like about it is the fame.
Yep.
That's the worst bit of it. Best bit of it is I'm not an accountant anymore. That's the best bit. Like that's why I do this. I do this so I don't have to go back to normal work.
Yeah.
And because I can make a good living, and I can be a better dad and a better husband.
Yep.
Spend more time with my kids. If the kids get sent home from daycare, I'm able to go and pick them up.
Yep.
Whereas my wife works like 70 hours a week. So
Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah. No, that's great. I like that. That's some good advice there too for that. And there might only be some people, but there might be some people listening that are actually those ones delivering that, that shit. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm
the
not
terrible
saying
comments,
there
yeah.
is, but
9 p.m. on a Friday night, that's when you get the worst comments.
few
Few tins.
Few beers.
yeah,
Yeah.
bit of liquid courage.
Yeah, exactly. little lubricates the keyboard. And I can tell you they're rambling and they're poorly spelt. There's no punctuation. You're like, mate, how many tins went into that comment?
You can barely make it out. It sounds
Yeah,
good.
but it's not like you're watching your YouTube video comments either. Like
Oh,
you
no.
check them every now and again, but you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like a direct message. These people are sending you stuff that.
Oh, when
You-
you get
you
hundreds of
rarely
comments
check.
every video,
Yeah.
you can't read all that. Yeah, I mean, I get about 200 messages a day. You can't read all that. Come on. Come
Do you have
on.
someone helping you with that?
No,
Far out.
it's just me.
PR.
No, I don't mean 200 people. I mean 200 messages.
200
Yeah.
messages, yeah.
Because a lot of people will send you 4 or 5.
Yeah. Does that just me? And does that's annoying?
Yeah.
It's also my business.
Yeah, no, I don't mean so much them the people messaging you. That's great. I reckon it's more
The
like
constant
my
notifications.
brother. If Joshy, if you're ever watching this, like the 5 messages that you send me, they kind of get annoying. Like, just put it all in the one.
Oh,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Oh.
saying. Like, just put it in the one.
I'm just-
Right.
I mean, the thing
Sorry,
is,
mate.
someone will send
Nah,
me
it's just-
5 messages, and I'll respond with two words.
Yeah.
Like, cheers, mate.
I'm not. I've actually been told I'm not a great responder.
Yeah, okay.
Did you? I think you guys told me on here. I thought I was fine.
I
But
think we had a go
like-
at Ronnie.
my family. Like
Ronnie's slow.
Ronnie's slow.
Ronnie is slow, actually.
Very
And I
slow.
don't think he's away that often to be slow. I feel like he hides
No, but
behind
he-
the I was away.
No, he just gets hyper focused on things
Yeah.
and ignores. Like, he hasn't opened his DMs in like 2 years. He has no idea what's
It'd be
in
actually
there.
good to go for a sister.
Go
Let's
through his
talk
DMs.
about Ronnie. Actually, let's. So you
Let's hang
mentioned
some
at the
shit on
start.
it.
It started with Ronnie, basically. Like,
Yeah.
So where
did
did
you-
that friendship, like, how did it all come together? And I suppose still to this day, you blokes are, still good mates.
Yeah, so 2014, we were both doing a DVD shoot for Full Drive Action magazine.
Right.
And I loved Full Drive Action, watched all the things, watched all the DVDs. And so I used to, and then they had a thing and they were like, hey, we're looking for WA cool four-wheel drives. And I sent in a photo of mine and they were like, yeah, we love it.
Which was
An 80 series.
yep.
Nice 80 series too.
Yeah, it was Sahara. I just got it.
Right.
Factory twin locked, factory turbo diesel. It was a plum car when
Yeah.
I bought it, not by then.
There's quite a setup in there. Sorry.
Yeah, it was good.
Keep
It
going.
it was a good
Ronnie,
setup
but yeah, it
for the
was-
time, particularly. Anyway, so we went and did a shoot with them, and Ronnie's there with his 79, which was very new.
That would
at
have
the
been
time.
early days, yeah.
Yeah, this is like he was a year old.
Yep.
And I outdrove him because I weighed about a ton less, which was hilarious.
Ton
And,
less, but maybe you're just a better driver.
Yeah.
No, it was funny because they were like, "Oh, can you lift a wheel here so we can get a better shot?" And I was like, "You drive it. See if you can make it lift a wheel." Like, it doesn't lift wheels, mate. It's full coils. Like, it's amazing. It's twin locked with full coils. Like, and it was empty. And I was like, "You'll never
It has to be on
get
its
it
back
lift."
to lift a wheel.
Yeah, like, if it's
four.
lifting a wheel, it's going to lift all four. Anyway, and like I got bogged because I was an idiot. Just drove into a bog hole for no reason, and so Ronnie pulled me out of there. And then later on, Ronnie bent his sidestep and trapped the cameraman inside his car, the passenger door, because it bent up in
yeah.
front of the door. So this cameraman had to like climb out of his door, and then I winched his. I just drove into a hole and winched his sidestep straight.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a tube sidestep. So we kind of just bonded over that, like
Yeah.
pulling each other out, fixing each other's stuff, and then I didn't see him for I don't know, nearly a year. And I was walking, and I was like, oh, at the Full Drive show, and I was like, oh, that's Ronnie's car, and he was at the ORE stand, and he was like, Harry. I was like, he remembered my name. Like, I'd met him for one day,
Yeah.
and he was like, mate, how you going? He's like, mate, I'm doing some YouTube stuff now. Do you want to like, I remember you driving your 80. Like, do you want to go and do a trip? And I was like, yeah, sounds good, man. Like, I was keen to do a little bit of full driving camping.
Yeah.
So we did. We went and did like a mud trip, and then did a few others, and we just got on well. And then we just kind of kept doing them.
Yeah,
And then
right.
it ended. By 2017, we did the Pilbara trip. And that's when he was like, mate, we've been away for 10 days and you haven't cooked the same meal twice. That's pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
like, I didn't have a gas cooker on me, and didn't need one.
That's awesome.
And he was like, you should do something with this. And I could already take a photo. As I said, photography background.
Yep.
I was getting they got really good feedback in the comments, me being on camera.
Yep.
People liked
Yep.
me. So I was like, oh, why not?
Yeah.
Screw it.
Yeah.
I'll do some of that. Yeah, I'm already cooking. I'm already taking photos. I may as well just post them.
And so that feedback about you on camera was through Ronnie's videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
People were like,
That's
we
cool.
love Harry.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
his cousin Muzz and,
Yeah, right.
So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I ended up with 3,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel with no videos.
Right. through like a...
Cameos on Ronnie's videos.
Really?
Wow.
Because I'd comment to be like, fun facts, but whatever,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
it would always be top comment, and people would just subscribe to my channel
Wow.
despite not being a creator.
And what was your channel called at the time?
Harry Fisher,
Just Harry Fisher.
yeah.
That's really
And then
That's cool.
So I just rebranded that to Fight a Fork, and yeah, and then I just started the Fire to Fork page about 2 months after that trip.
Yep.
And then it continued to ignore the YouTube channel, and I didn't start doing the YouTube stuff till late 2018.
Right.
And I just did 3 videos in a year, and
Yeah,
it was
okay.
one trip.
Yeah,
Broken up
right,
into
yeah,
3
yeah.
videos. And then so I did Fire Talk with Ronnie, Fire Talk with Graham Cahill, Fire Talk with Alex from Intense.
Yep.
And then didn't really do much
Yeah, right.
for ages. And then 2020 rolled around and I started making videos.
That was it. Wow. There you go.
That's cool. So your first video was Graham Cahill.
Yeah, I know, right?
How did you get that?
There's
He
another
asked
3,000
me.
subscribers.
He asked you.
He asked me. He goes, mate, do you want to do a video? Like, he goes, do you want to do a camping trip together? He's like, I'm keen to try your food and meet your dog. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I've been watching this guy since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I
That's
was
huge.
frothing. And I was like, do I ever? And I was like, mate, do you mind if I make a little video out of it? And he's like, yeah, go for it. I was like, oh, cool. Can I interview you? He's like, yeah, sure, go for it. And he got in so much shit for that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they were not happy.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah.
all right. He didn't actually do anything wrong, but they like changed the rules after that.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard stories about that.
Right.
What so how did you meet Graham?
He just followed my Instagram.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
he just hit you up in the DMs.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've got a few people that follow me, and I'm just like, it blows my mind who they are, like the Bush Tucker man.
Oh, really? Yeah, right.
Les Hiddens follows me on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God.
The reverse of that is probably there's people out there that you follow that are like, I can't believe Harry Fisher follows me. That's unbelievable. Do you think about that?
That's a good point.
Because you're quite a famous guy now.
Yeah, see, to me, I'm just me. It doesn't kind of mean anything from my perspective. I have had people be like, oh my God, he's following me. And I'm like,
I don't.
yeah, I don't feel like I've done anything special. I just cook stuff and drink beer.
Do you think about the influence that you have on other people, other content creators, or just people that watch you?
I found it very weird and also cool how often it comes up. So I'll be watching someone else's video and they'll be like, oh, I saw Harry cooking this. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's me. Or listening to podcasts. Or I have also had people tell me, I haven't actually seen the videos, but they go like, oh, we're going to do the Harry test. So on every video I do, does it go well with beer? So people will call it the Harry test. And I'm like, that's wild. Like, because in my mind, I don't know. It's because I kind of put myself next to Ronnie, I've just started and I have no followers. I'm 20% of Ronnie.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's just crazy how big he is, but you've grown an insane amount in quite a small number of years.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It seems I've become part of the furniture, and it's probably because I was doing it for so long with Ronnie.
Yeah, righto. Yep.
But yeah, and like I don't want subscribers. I know it sounds really weird, but I have no interest in fame. All I want is to not be an accountant
Yeah.
and to make a living not being an accountant. That's what I actually want. So I would love 10,000 subs, not 100, and to cruise along and do my thing and no one get a selfie with me at the pub. That's like my ideal kind of life. There are 2 parts to it, right? There's the fame and the influence. And when I say influence, I don't mean influencing people to buy stuff. I mean my ability to influence the four-wheel drive industry and products within it. The fact that I'm able to go to people and say, hey, I think you guys should change this and this and this.
Yeah.
And they just do it. They're like, oh, that's great advice.
I've heard you
Thank
say that somewhere else, actually, that's a big part of
That's
what it is.
That to me is really,
Yeah.
that's really valuable.
Yep.
And a mate of mine pointed that out to me. He's like, I wish I had your influence in the industry, not the fame. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, actually, that is really handy.
Yeah. You know what this has been actually also for us? It's a good reminder. Harry's obviously very humble, but a good reminder because Ronnie is so humble also. That like we just week to week sit down with this bloke, Ronnie, and talk.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's the wizard that he is and how big he is, and we've all grown up watching him. Like,
Yeah.
Well, how we
is
got
cool.
started doing this is also funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Just it's crazy how things start.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And here we all are having a chat on a couch with a full scale studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool setup.
It is good.
Yeah.
Let's let's like that's kind of interview part because I don't want to bore Harry either. I want to get into some of the fun
Oh,
stuff.
let's go straight into fun stuff.
What is Outback Nomads that keeps coming on the
That's
screen?
good, isn't it? That's Jaden's. We think it's like a Netflix series coming out soon, but it's actually just
It's just my desktop background.
yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah, it's
I
just
love
a
it.
photo I took.
It's a great
And-
photo. That'd be a great thumbnail. Or a Netflix series.
Netflix series.
Yeah.
What do you think it'd be about?
Or people in the Outback who are nomadic.
I thought a camp like a horror camping story.
Oh,
That's a
right.
vibe I get from this.
No, I get like Malcolm Douglas vibes.
Okay.
Oh, it's a bit of midsummer vibe.
What's midsummer?
I mean, no? All right, shut up, Dan.
There's
There's a reason you don't have a mic over there, mate.
Dan's back too, everyone. I forgot to mention that at the
Yeah,
start.
Dan's here.
Thanks, Dan. Mate, let's
Dan
talk about
BYD,
yeah.
the induction cooker of
He's
cars.
getting the BYD Shark.
He's going for it.
Can you please get a BYD U8 so we can drive it?
Oh, hey, actually, speaking on BYD, what?
U8.
U8.
Is that a thing?
Oh my God, is it a thing?
We meant to know about
No,
that.
see,
All right, boys,
when we
here we
talked
go.
about the BYD Shark, people were like, how do you not know about BYDs? They're everywhere. You guys should know more about BYDs.
It's like the
No idea.
250 looking Prado.
Yeah, it's got 1,200 horsepower.
That's it.
It floats, and it has a 2-litre turbocharged engine and an electric powertrain.
Oh.
So it's completely hybrid. It has over 1,000 k's of range with a small fuel tank. It has an interior that looks like a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, that is pretty nice.
It's
That
like
is very
180
nice.
grand.
We should have probably
And
spoken
it's
to Harry about
insane.
this at the start so we could have filtered this to our listeners.
It is insane. I want one.
Yeah, I know.
Like
it's pretty cool.
I'd have it. I'd have it. It floats. So
What do you-
fully
what-
floats. I mean, like, so you can drive it into the river and just spin the wheels and it'll go.
No,
I
come
gotta
on,
see
mate.
that.
Watch it, and it can do tank turns.
Oh, that's cool.
Tank turns.
What's
are
doing
sick.
that now as well? The
The Rivian
yes,
and the
that's
G
right.
wagon.
Yep. Yes.
Didn't
Can't
they
believe
call
the
it a
G-Wagon's doing
G-turn?
that? The G
Yeah, that's wank. It's tank
Yeah, it
turns.
is.
Yeah.
BYD
Sure,
U8 floating. While I'm searching this, can we
Yeah, well-
chat about? So you've had the 80 series. We want to get through your cars too.
Okay.
Because then I want to.
start from the start with 4 drives.
Yeah, please.
All right. First 4 drive was a 91 Toyota Hilux Surf in maroon.
Yep.
Then I had a Jeep XJ Cherokee. They got T-boned and rolled.
Jeez.
And then I had a petrol 99 Jackaroo.
Oh yeah.
That was so much fun on 33s, lifted.
33s on the Jackaroo.
Yeah. 3-inch lift 33s, custom made bar, winch. It was sick. And then I had a 99 105 series Land Cruiser,
Yep.
petrol. Also
How
maroon.
was that?
That was very thirsty and very good.
Okay.
Like,
very. Yeah, we're just
Are you
watching this thing
watching- are you
float.
watching this thing float?
Yeah, it's at the point now where it's floating.
This bloke's just driven it into a dam.
dude,
Oh wow.
how cool is it?
It's called an emergency floating mode. Sorry to interrupt your car, but your car chat. But
That is pretty crazy.
Also, imagine driving
Who's
out to a
driving it?
floating river.
Yeah.
You're so screwed.
And
I
they've
can just
opened it.
imagine being camping around like a dam or a river or wherever.
No need for
And some
bridges.
bloke just drives in. You're looking at him like, fuck.
That is pretty
Now
unreal.
I've got to drive over. I've got to winch this idiot out. And he just drives off.
Just crosses.
Just drives to the other
just
side.
crosses Lake Navarino and drives out the other side. You'd be like, what is going on? And you'd be like, oh, this guy's some idiot in a Chinese 4-wheel drive just driven across it.
That is crazy.
I've had one too many beers. This
Yeah. Come on,
bloke
not
in
a
a-
boat. Or maybe it is a boat. Holy shit.
What is happening?
It's Dan.
It's Dan and his people.
Dan's so bored.
Dan doesn't care about this at all.
BYD.
we,
that's a river.
So you,
Well, and to be fair, I took my army trailer into Lake Navarino because it floats, and I put an
Yes.
outboard on it.
I
And
did
Ronnie
have
filmed
that.
me.
What? Daryl the trailer boat.
Yeah, Daz.
Daz.
Old Daz. He turned 60 this year.
Still got him.
Yeah,
Great.
Still rolling.
they'll bury me in him.
in the river. You have a Viking funeral.
Yeah,
We'll shoot an arrow into you and Daz.
exactly. Perfect. Just fill him
Light
with
it
jerry
up.
cans.
No gas burners in there.
No.
So yeah, when I was doing my research for this,
Oh,
went
sorry,
through a
yeah.
few of your cars.
Yep.
Were you done?
I had the
I've
Jeep.
got
If you had.
I think it's
You got the Jeep,
17 or something.
the XJ.
17.
Cars total, but main four drives, I don't know. Not that many. So 99. Yeah, so
No.
XJ,
XJ,
Jackaroo,
Jackaroo,
99
105.
105. Then I had a 92 HDJ80, so factory turbo 80. And then I had a 91 factory turbo diesel 80, which was brick.
Yes, Brick the 80 series. So have you named all of your cars?
No, I started naming them at the red 105. So that was Ron Burgundy because it was Burgundy. And then there was Veronica Corningstone, which was the next one. So it's all Anchorman.
Yep.
And then Brick is Brick Tamlin. From,
Yep.
Oh, so it is that.
Yeah,
That makes sense, yeah.
And
There
the
you go.
current Prado is Brian Fantana.
Oh, the current Prado is Brian.
Brian
Oh, I
Prado.
thought the current Prado was the Taj Mahal.
No, the Taj Mahal is the Caravan.
Ah, yes.
Right.
So that's the combo. Brian
Yeah, that makes
Fantana and the
sense.
Taj Mahal.
Yeah. But I think I literally just call all of my camper trailers and caravans the Taj Mahal. So
Susan the Subaru.
Susan the Subaru is my wife's car. Well done. That's niche.
Yeah.
You've done well there.
Got that. I've got like 6 or 7. I didn't realize it was 18.
So, I've had like a Sierra 40 series. I've had a Courier,
Where are all those
bunch of-
going at the end of the day?
mainly the bin.
Okay.
Like, a lot of them were like $200. Well, when I was
Yeah,
at uni,
gotcha. Yeah,
we'd go and
yeah.
buy shit boxes for $200 out of the Quokka.
Yeah, right.
And then I had an XL that I bought for $100 off a bloke at work.
Really?
And we went and did jumps at Lancelin in it. And then we had to drive it home. And we had dolphin torches ratchet strapped to the bonnet because the alternator was buggered, so we couldn't run the headlights. It had racing stripes, obviously.
Obviously, it has to.
Yeah. So I started life as a massive bogan. I went to a good school, a good uni, and I've been a massive bogan my whole life.
Where,
You
did
don't
you, where
usually-
did you go to school?
Christchurch,
Oh, nice, yeah.
And uni?
UW.
UW.
There you go. And then
Yeah,
you
so
turned.
massive private school worker
Yeah.
who has been just a bogan at heart.
Quadruple major. Like,
Explains the craft.
very intelligent.
Worked on St George's
Absolute
Terrace
bogan.
for nearly 10 years. Wore a suit and tie for nearly 10 years.
Love that, though. That's
And then, yeah.
that's gold.
That's
What's up next if the Prado ever
Well,
like it? This
the 10-year tour is going to continue.
okay. Yep.
What nobody knows is that I've been in talks about a new car as soon as 3 months' time.
Wow. Right.
2 months' time, actually.
There you go.
Can we guess it?
Another one. You can guess, but I won't confirm. So, but
we don't know either.
it will be it'll be an as well as the Prado,
Okay.
not instead of.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to try something.
Yep.
I want to experiment with something, and
What do you want to experiment? What parts are you wanting to experiment in?
well, the 10-year Tourer in a lot of ways is now redundant because a lot of the gear that I've put on there you can't even get.
Yeah. Okay.
It's out of date. Would I do it again if I was doing it today? It's the kind of the thought experiment of
Yeah.
what would I do if I was doing a build today?
Where are you now? Yep.
And so I've had the opportunity through a company, and they said, "Can you help us do a build? And then you can use the car
Oh, okay.
for like a long time." And I was like, "That sounds pretty cool." So it's like, "Hey, can I just borrow your wallet? I'm going to go build a car." And I thought that was a pretty cool idea because they were like, you've obviously you build cars to last, and
Yeah.
we'd like to do that, and they build cars as well. And they're like, "Can you run us through they're very good at it, but they just said like, would you be interested in working together on a build?" And I was like,
I'm also
"Yeah."
interested in that. If you would mind flicking my
Yeah,
number
just-
across.
I'll be honest, they offered me a 300 series GR Sport,
Oh wow.
Jesus.
and I said no.
Oh, okay. I'll go that one.
No, because and not because I didn't want it. I want it
Yeah.
more than anything. But because I think that the world has enough $250,000 builds.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, so you're
Okay,
doing a
that-
common man build.
I wouldn't say common man,
Not
but
common
not
man.
$250,000.
They've handed the wallet over.
I mean, the Prado's certainly not a common man build. That's up to
Yeah.
160 grand.
No,
Yeah,
that's
right.
it.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Well,
170.
that's exciting though. Like that's
Yeah, there's something
that's
else on the
huge.
horizon
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of big things, actually, very big things coming in
okay.
the future of Fire to Fork that I definitely can't talk about now. But yeah, there are some like very significant changes.
It's exciting.
Wow, that is exciting.
Even I'm a little bit like,
Yeah,
"Tell us,
no,
just tell us."
I'll tell you over a tin after this.
Beautiful.
All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, well, all right, that's it. Done and dusted. Thanks, Harry.
We haven't done a guest interview for a long time, but
Daycare colds.
no, that's all right, mate. You're allowed to be a little bit crook every now and then.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in still.
Yeah. He would have been on his deathbed still come in today, I reckon.
You wouldn't have got me in yesterday, I can tell you.
Oh, really?
I was in
geez.
bed all day.
Oh, shit. What's a trip that stands out? We've asked, it's the most simple, basic question, but a trip that either sticks out to you, you want to do again, get me there tomorrow, or you never need to go back because it's pride of place in your head, in your heart.
Oh, there's one that's just
Great one.
head and
Delete.
shoulders above the rest.
We never get one.
Yeah,
No, we
just one.
Wicked.
There's one. It was 2016, I think. Yeah, 2016, before Fire to Fork.
Yep.
And it was my wife at the time, girlfriend. We did a month in the Kimberley in Pilbara in Brick. And even though the car completely died and I spent 5 days in the mechanics workshop doing countless hours working on it and thousands of dollars, it was the best trip we've ever done.
Right.
And it was simple. We had an Oz tent and a swag and a bunch of crap. The car was so overloaded. I blew a diff, I blew tires, I blew bloody everything. And we had a smile on our face every day.
Right.
It was magic. And everyone was like, oh, how'd you go? Like a whole month. And I was like, mate, we could have gone for a year.
Really?
There was absolutely no fatigue at the end of it. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
you're one of those trips where you're like,
Right.
I'm like energized every day. And traveling can be exhausting, and this was
and
not.
with shit going wrong too. Like,
Yeah, big shit going on.
yeah.
Nearly drowned the car. Alternator died. Had to winch. I remember having the car at like 4,200 RPM, the headlights off as the tide was coming in on the Fitzroy River, full of crocs, on a mud flat, two-wheel drive, and I'm winching from a tree behind us. So it's like wrapped around the body of the car, the winch ropes wrapped, and it's like... like I'm getting the tiniest bit of charge from the alternator, like flickering lights. It's like... just on this slick mud. I was like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, no, we went to the coolest locations. The Kimberley for me is really special. Like my folks used to be part owners in a station up there.
Right.
So they used to send me up to school holidays and stuff and go and muster. And it's just got a really strong part of me. And then living in Broome, obviously, was even more so. I can't get it out of me.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
like I need to go there.
Yeah.
Like just going recently, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
why don't I do this every year?
Yeah, gotcha.
And I'm going to do it every year now.
Book it in.
It's been stupid for me not to do it every year because it's my favourite place.
Yep. Yep. That's all. That's it. That's the best answer we've ever had to that question.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple one, but to actually get a defined
Yeah.
answer like that, that's unreal.
Yeah, it's hard
Rick.
to find an actual
Oh, yeah.
one trip that is the best trip.
And it sounds like the worst trip, but
Yeah.
because of that, it was the best trip.
Yeah, best memories, just the best memories. I've been introducing my wife recently as either my current wife or my first wife or my ex-girlfriend. We're very happily married.
Still.
Yeah. It's just fun.
Favorite meal to cook?
Steak and chips.
Steak and
Yeah.
chips.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And
your
I've
most
done it.
popular video as
Yeah,
well.
and I've done it. And that was the first ever cooking video I did.
Really?
Yeah, 700,000 views. It was the first ever cooking video I did.
Steak
Wow.
and chips.
Yeah.
You recreated it recently.
Yeah, that was great. And I don't know how many times I've done steak and chips, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of different variants, and I just figured out a new one today, which I'm pretty happy with. Steak Diane.
Steak Diane.
Yeah. And at some stage I'll need to even like basically there's like a running joke in the channel that's like I'll find more ways than anyone in the world to make steak and potatoes just because I like making it.
100%.
If you just call it Steak Fleet, all of a sudden it's a new meal. They haven't called it Steak Fleet yet. So
Well, you've got plenty of variants.
yeah.
If anyone's going to come up with new ways, it's going to be you.
Oh, I will.
Could you
I'll
cook
back
one?
myself.
You could get Jeff involved and cook one on something in the engine bay. I'd like to see that done. It's not really cooking on fire, actually.
I don't know
Cooking
I
it
don't
on
know
an
how you
engine.
get a good sear on it unless you're putting on an exhaust manifold.
Maybe put it in there like an oven.
I reckon you could do it slow. You could slow cook something, but not a steak. I could do like pulled pork or something in there. Something slow cooked.
Done. I'd like
Be
to see it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
big thing you were talking about coming up on the channel?
Yeah.
Pulled pork on the manifold. I mean, it's fire. There's fire in the combustion chamber, but that's about it.
Hey,
It'd have a good flavour.
we've got a lot. Like, there's so much here
I
we
know,
can
yeah,
talk
it's-
about.
there's
We've
a
gone
lot.
for a long time here, and we don't want
do
to sit
that.
Harry down too long. But do we go to around the fire pit now, or is there anything else you want to touch on? We haven't really given Ronnie any shit, but does he deserve it? Probably not. He
Oh,
got us all
we're gonna go through a
started.
couple
What about
things
me?
with
What
Ronnie.
about? Because I've got one to give you.
Me?
So I want to give you a car sales challenge.
Oh yes,
So
please
do you remember during COVID when everyone could get 20 grand out of their
Yeah,
super?
Yeah.
So I want to. This is a very poor financial decision purchase. So I want 20 grand
Yeah.
to have the best fun for like a weekend.
Okay.
Like take it to the sand dunes kind of
Oh,
thing.
right.
I'm thinking like fast, uneconomical.
Yeah.
Probably pretty unreliable, like meth spec.
Right.
You know.
For 20 grand.
For 20 grand.
Okay.
So you're spending all of your money
that.
on a terrible financial decision.
yeah,
Like,
gotcha.
I want something that's going to depreciate badly, like the lot.
Yep. I can
You
do
find
that.
like the methiest, like fastest, loudest,
Yeah.
mostest, the kind of thing that's going to like, you know, fly through your campsite sideways at 2 a.m.
Yeah, gotcha. So it's got to be like a 4-wheel drive enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Okay.
That's good.
No, don't mind that.
COVID decisions.
Poor COVID decisions.
There's a lot of those actually. Come to think of it, now we're out of that well and truly.
Well, the guy that bought my 80 series,
He was that guy.
he bought it with his COVID.
Can he call and all?
Oh God! He bought it with his super money, and I was like,
Oh, no.
"Mate, good work! Buy a 30-year-old depreciating asset with your superannuation money."
Oh. Well, at least you're honest. At least you're honest with
I'm
him.
an accountant, for God's sake. I was like, "You cannot be serious."
But he take my money.
There you go. Well, you want to go through, let's just quickly go through a couple of trips with Ronnie, a couple of things Ronnie gave us.
Oh, righto. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
So
Oh, true.
on your first trip with Ronnie, you broke your 80 series 3 times.
Makes sense. Which trip was that? Harvey.
First
Did I
trip
break
was
it
on-
3 times?
Apparently, you broke
mud
it 3
trip?
times.
The
That'd
mud
be
trip.
the mud trip.
Yeah, I don't remember what I broke, but that thing used to break like every 10 minutes. So yeah, it makes sense.
Who reckons you love breaking things? Diff in the Kimberley, winching sideways and backwards.
That's the one I was just telling you
That
about.
was the one.
Yep.
You blew a 10-year-old tyre.
That was on the way to the Pilbara trip where he convinced me. I bought a tyre of a guy named Alex, who's from Intense, that he'd had on the back of his car for like years and years and years. And I was like, oh, look, it's got heaps of tread. I'm just going to whack it on. And it delaminated and blew, ripped the flare off everything about, I don't know, 300 Ks into the trip. I was like, oh, shit.
Probably will.
Remember how broken, fractured spine?
Yeah, I broke my back on
Yeah.
video with him. Yep.
Jump rock in the Kimberley.
Yep. I climbed up I did the cliff behind Jump Rock.
Oh, okay.
So Jump Rock, safe to jump off. Cliff behind Jump Rock, not so much. So I jumped off an 18-metre cliff and I slightly recoiled my legs before I hit the water, and it meant that I hit my arse instead of my legs.
Oh.
And I got a compression fracture and ended up in
Shit.
hospital and flying back to Perth and whatnot. And I was like, nah, it's because I slapped my feet so hard. And then I saw my ass in the mirror 5 days later, and it was black. And I was like,
Right.
oh, it turns out I did hit my ass. Yeah,
Wow.
that sucked.
Well, that
sucked.
doesn't-
I'd been married for 2 weeks. So my wife was like, what have I done? Who is this moron I've married?
What was the recovery on that?
A year.
Jesus.
But you don't fix compression fractures, stay with you for life.
Yeah, so
So
I'm
it's just
about 3 mil shorter than I was.
No way.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jeez, I couldn't lose that somewhere else. I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, like in Lanham front.
I'd be in real trouble.
Oh, big problem.
Yeah, so I got like an Ord River enema.
So how are you now?
Fine.
Sure.
Completely fine.
still lifting heavy things and all
Yeah,
that.
I can
no
do whatever.
real problems.
Yeah, I get a slightly sore back where it broke on very cold days.
Right.
Right.
That's it. Other than that, like strong as normal.
Because I watched this video today, actually, and you were talking, you were calling doctors on the phone and stuff. You didn't seem to. I mean, you were obviously in a lot of pain, but it felt like it wasn't what I expected from someone who had a broken spine, broken back.
Yeah, I was pretty calm.
Yeah.
Did you Mike Tyson it?
What does that
What?
mean?
And he's like, my back is broke. Spinal.
My spine.
Have you seen that?
My spine is broken.
Spinal. That's what I'm
Spinal.
imagining
My
now.
spinal. No, I was pretty calm. I just went, yeah, I've broken my back, you know.
That's, yeah.
What's your name? Well, I didn't say I broke my back. I will say, if you watch that video again and then think about spinal precautions and how they handled me, oh my God, terrible. They were like, can you please sit down? I was like, no, I've got a spinal injury. I need to be on my back, like strapped to a
Yeah.
board. And they sat me down multiple times. And I was like, guys, I cannot put pressure on my back. I was like, all the way down. And they like let it halfway down. And I
Who
was
was
like,
this?
The Ambos.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
They just got my mates to lift me out of the boat.
Shit.
Like, no, I was like, there should be a stretcher in that. They pull the boat out of the water, put a stretcher in the boat, strap me to it, flat, collar, nothing.
Wow.
I got into hospital and the doctor goes, can you stand up for me? And I was like, obviously not. I have a spinal injury. He goes, I can't tell from the x-ray if it's broken. It might be. Can
Oh,
you stand up for me?
let's risk it
And I
then.
was like, oh my God.
Kimberly.
Like 0 out of 10 medical care.
So the back is still broken.
My wife ended up
Yeah.
working there a few months later, and she was like, yeah, my husband broke his back, and I think he was in here. I think he was a pain in the ass of a patient. And they were like, yeah, he was a pain in the ass of a patient. And I was like, to be fair, you were crap. and she was like, yeah, I did have some concerns, if I'm completely honest. And like, she like ran through a couple of things, and they were like, oh, did that really happen? And they're like, yeah.
Oh.
No, he's probably pretty fair then.
Yeah,
Right.
I did notice that watching the video. It's very nonchalant with a spinal injury. It's like, hey, are you feeling comfortable here?
No.
You're sitting up. He's literally.
And I was like, no, I'm not. And I'm
Yeah.
holding myself up with my arms
yeah,
because I
yeah.
couldn't put any pressure on my bum because that compresses my spine.
Yeah. Where,
Anyway, yeah. So when the doctor goes, can you please stand up for me? And they help me up and they let me go. And I just went completely black and just fell. And they caught me.
Great.
And I was like, no, I can't stand up.
They just didn't believe you.
Figured that one out.
Insane.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Anyway, that's not in the video.
No. You nearly implanted your radiator at Running Waters?
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard a noise, and I was like, whatever. Running Waters is very hard to get into, and it's like very wet, and it was night because it's Ronnie. And I got into camp, and there was a stick poking out the front of my car out of the grill, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And it had pierced into the radiator, into the fins, and hadn't done any damage. And we're like, that's as remote as you'll get. Funnily enough, that's the same place my car broke in 2016 on that Kimberley trip.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Just as remote as you can possibly get. And yeah, so like, I don't know how, but it like moved the fins aside and nothing was damaged. It just
Wow.
carried on as is. That radiator lasted another 6 years.
What could have been?
We got a couple more. Hulk burger, just quickly.
Where are
Yeah, Hulk burger, we made a 7 kilo
Oh, yeah.
burger. It was
How was
horrific.
it? Terrible?
Yeah.
Sounds
Solar
right
cooking.
now.
Oh, that was a complete fail. I tried to make a solar oven with Ronnie because I was like, well, it's summer, but I don't want to have a fire. So I don't want to have a fire, but I'm going to try and make a solar oven. So I sort of rigged up a thing as a solar oven, and we put ribs in there for like 3 hours, and the ribs were just raw.
Right.
It didn't cook at all.
What'd you try and make it out of?
Like reflectors and a camp
Yeah,
oven.
okay.
It didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Skip that. Anything on Ronnie? Ronnie reckons you've got a lot of dirt on him. You got anything that you can share with us about Ronnie?
Oh, I remember. So, Ronnie always gets to camp in dark.
Yeah.
Now, the reason that Ronnie gets to camp in dark is not because he's going a long way. It's because he is the world's slowest videographer. And it is chaotic. He takes 9 hours to make a decision about which shot he wants, so he just gets all of them. I remember there was one day we woke up at 4 a.m. in the Kimberley. It was 48 degrees that day. And by 10 hours into the shoot, so 2 p.m., we had made it 180 kilometres of highway and we hadn't pulled a camera out. That was how slow moving this convoy was. We were at a servo for about 2 hours because Ronnie doesn't hustle anyone. He just goes with the flow. And it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, you guys want some, like, everyone's going to get fuel. Then someone's like, oh, might have a burger. Yeah, cool, get a burger. You got to wait for your burger. And then someone else is like, shit, that burger looks pretty good. I might order one as well. And you're like, oh, God. And then someone else goes, geez, you guys get burgers. I might get a burger as well. And then, you know, someone finishes their burger and they're like, okay, I'm going to go for a shit. And you're like, oh, God. and then, you know, right at the last minute, everyone's like in the car and someone's like, oh, I haven't put fuel in yet. You're like, like, I was getting a burger. You know? We were at a servo for about 2 hours and we achieved nothing in that time other than putting fuel and food into us. And I was like, this is the most inefficient thing. And I've got ADHD, so I'm like very impatient with that kind of stuff. And Ronnie is insanely impatient with some things and has the patience of a saint with others. Like, Ronnie will happily wait 45 minutes for a tyre to get aired up. He like never buys a twin compressor. He always buys a single because he's like, it's a bit lighter. And I'm like, and it is the biggest pain in the ass in the world because it is so bloody slow. Or he'll use like a battery-powered one or something, you know, like patience of a saint when it comes to airing up. But if you say to him, like, okay, look, we're going to get the awnings out and cook some dinner, he's like, forget it. Like, it's like, what is the quickest thing I can make? I won't pull my awning out and I'll sit on the ground and eat it with a knife so I don't have to wash up. And I'm like, but just, yeah, happy to spend 9 hours getting 2 shots. And one of the great examples, he even figured it out himself. He said that we spent 5 hours filming a track, and then he realised he'd forgotten something at the start of the track, and it took him 3 minutes to go and get it. So it's like it took us 5 hours to do 3 minutes of driving.
Now, we sort of had that experience a little bit, didn't we? Like,
mate, it was coming back across another ball.
Yeah, like, and we stopped. We stopped at that cool, like that free camp with that old homestead that's abandoned now. I forget what it's called. We got some wicked shots. That's where we got the Ronnie's album cover.
Yeah, Ronnie's album cover.
Oh, is that where that was?
And but so we did all that, got the shots. It was fun, like, because I've never done that before. Like,
yeah,
these blokes get all the good gear out and stuff like that. It was awesome to see and hanging out with those dudes. And then we get to camp in dark, and that's when we had the cowboy steaks just straight on the fire and like a simple
laziest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
You just pop the roof on the troopy and that was it.
Yeah,
that was our day.
He has no time for camping gear and like, he didn't run an awning. I reckon in the past 10 years, he's had 2 good awnings. And
destination
the
four-wheel drive awning.
And
Destination
one of the for like a good 5 years, he pulled the insides of his awnings out so we could put fishing rods in there. And he's a crap fisher. So.
I don't think I've ever seen him fish.
I don't know. I just loved like because we'd only spent time with him doing this, but on that trip, I loved. Like, he's the best bloke to camp with.
Oh, he's awesome to camp with.
Yeah. He is that generous too. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah. Like, he'll do everything for us while we barely lift a finger. All we had to do was wash up when there was like we had to wash the knife.
Yeah, and he was fighting us not to do it as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was unreal to camp with the guru.
No, I really like camping with Ronnie. I just hate filming with Ronnie. Because it's so bloody slow.
What's slow? Like,
whereas I'm the exact opposite. I'll spend all day at camp. My camera's been set up since the morning.
Yeah.
Because I set up 4 cameras at once.
Yeah.
And they're all static, so nothing moves. I set up 2 big lights, 4 cameras, and it's like this.
Yeah.
Right? I set up a thing like this to do my cooking episodes because then we can just flick between angles.
Yeah.
And it makes it really easy.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that also at the same place for 3 days. And so I won't change my camera setup at all. It just sits there. All I do is at the end of the night, I like actually take the physical camera off and put it in the caravan so it doesn't get wet.
Yeah.
That's it. Whack a new battery in it. It's like the
I like
exact
that
opposite
style.
of Ronnie.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like Ronnie's tripods are $3,500 because they have to be so quick to deploy to have and hold a giant camera. Like it's just a whole different
Yeah.
thing. Whereas I'm like $3,500. I'm like, it's like all my tripods combined.
I didn't understand any of that stuff before I did that trip with Ronnie.
Yeah,
Because I'd always watched the videos, watched your videos, but I never saw what was actually.
The setup.
It was crazy to see how much like the gear and
Right.
how quality it is.
Yeah.
you see these legs underneath the tripod?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
can't have them because what if he needs to put it over like a big rock? So again, like you,
It's like the
But
little
it's- but it-
brace part there.
yeah,
the
but
three,
it still needs to be able to carry a giant camera.
There you go. We're just learning something about Ronnie here.
And then also, like he presses one button and all the legs deploy at once, and he just holds it down and goes.
Okay, so he's got all this quick gear. Why is it taking him so long?
because he's bloody indecisive,
Meticulous. You could say.
Unbelievable.
and he likes lots of angles and lots of audio. But you know, he'll have like 2 GoPros rolling, and then a big main camera, and then a drone. All that takes a lot of screwing around to do, and he has to coordinate all the guys around him to do it. And so he has to coordinate each one by one, and then you're going to get radio comms, and then. All right, now we actually drive. And it's
Yeah.
quick.
So for those people enjoying Ronnie's videos on a Sunday morning, just
a
think
lot
about the
going
amount of
on.
work that Ronnie's doing to get that out
Wow.
to you.
We broke a record filming Prado versus Hilux. 14 angles.
How?
Just there were that many GoPros,
Just
that
set
many
up
main
everywhere.
cameras.
Really?
Was it? It was either 9 or 14. Maybe it was 9.
Well, nine's
It
gonna
was
probably win by
You know,
about
I think it was
5.
9. So we'd have like one in cab, one in the front of the car, one at the back of the car, one main like big camera, cinema camera on the beach, one cinema camera behind us on the beach, drone, and then all the same for the other car. So you got 3 cameras. Like it was insane. We were like, wow, this is a lot.
It's a big scale
And so
production.
even before you start, you have to plug everything into a little syncing unit that synchronizes all
right.
the clips so that when you edit, they're all timed.
Even just learning all that stuff for me was crazy that you blokes have been able to do that too. Like Adam worked as photographer before, but yeah,
They do video though.
yeah,
to
but just
learn it all.
learning all that is crazy.
I'm self-taught for video.
Yeah, right. It's pretty impressive, like a lot of that stuff, because I didn't realize how much went into it, and we weren't filming a trip.
Yeah, yeah.
We were just
No.
like having fun.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
if we were filming it?
Yeah, we'd still be on the way back.
Yeah, we'd still be over there.
I had someone ask me the other day. They're like, "Does Ronnie have like 4 or 5 iPhones to film with?" And I was like, "iPhones?
iPhones.
Maybe
Just
bit like-
north of an iPhone.
It's like, no, he's just got the one iPhone, but
Yeah.
he uses that for messaging. He uses a cinema camera, a fleet of cinema cameras for his like video.
Oh, that's insane. All right,
He's
well,
got Quentin Tarantino with him when he.
he's Tarantino's cinematographer. What? So maybe we'll finish on these 3, and then we'll go to Fire Pit.
Yeah, where are you now?
Where do you
Oh,
want
there.
Fire to Fork to go in the future? Where do you see it going?
I again, as I sort of alluded to earlier, I kind of don't want it to go anywhere. I love where it's at. I love it. It's a good I'm very happy with the income. I'm very happy with how much work I do. I don't want to add more complication and make it more difficult. My changes coming up are changes, not additions.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to complicate anything. I like it. So if anything, I'd like to strip it back. I want more time with my kids, more time with my
Yeah.
family. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to build an empire. In fact, quite the opposite. When I think about like Matt from Explorer and stuff like that, I've spoken to him about it. He's got 14 staff.
Yeah, right.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want no staff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I employ my mum to do my merch, and I've got a guy in America who does the rough cuts.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Keep it simple.
Cool. I like it.
Cool.
Finish on your last one. You've done a good
Yeah.
job with this.
Any tips for listeners who are trying to impress with cooking in the outback but want to keep it simple?
Think about that. One thing that's really, really hard to beat and really easy to cook is a steak, because you can have as much. There's no such thing as too much heat on a steak. You can just chuck it straight on the flames. It doesn't matter if your fire's a bit crap, like as in like not perfect coals and temperature control and stuff like that. That's always a winner. And the other thing is pastas and stuff are really good because you can't get water above 100 degrees. So you can't burn anything in liquid. So slow cooked things like pulled pork and things like that, you can't get them above 100 degrees. So they're quite good. So those two. So searing a steak is really good, and slow cooks. But like I'm not talking about like a roast chicken or something in liquid.
Yep.
Like ribs or pork.
Yep. There you go.
Great. Well, there's a lot more cooking stuff that we could have gone over, but that's all on your YouTube channel. If people want to see that, they can go over to Fire to Fork and watch it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, great. Well, around the fire pit.
Yep, let's head to it where he's comfortable. Thanks.
Thanks,
Dan's
Dan.
awake.
Yeah, I thought he was over there having a snooze, but he's here. Thanks, mate.
All right, so you've hooked this up around the fire pit Q&A. Normally it's just to us and Ronnie. Well, normally it's just Ronnie, actually. It's just
Yeah,
purely
normally
for
it is
Ronnie.
just Ronnie.
But there's so many, so we're just going to pick a few.
So we put this out on Instagram, and thanks for sharing it.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
But we got that many responses. And sorry to everyone. Like, they're great questions, but we can't hit all of them.
Yeah, that happens.
We just can't. There's really good ones in there, but we just can't hit all of them. So I've written
I
them all
do like
down.
a couple here, though.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
There
They're
are some
on the
good
first
ones.
page.
My
some good
followers are good.
Mate,
yeah, mate. Some good stuff.
there's some good.
Well,
Do you wanna-
I'll just get into it.
Yeah, just get into it. Just choose
Righto.
whichever ones.
This is from Cowboy Tuned.
Oh, God.
Do you need us to start a GoFundMe to buy some shoes for you? We can say no.
Absolutely not, but please subscribe to my OnlyFeet.
Give him a look. We're all
Free for you.
We're all feet.
I like this one too, Mike Zanola. How fast can you smash a zinger box?
Ooh, pretty fast. If I'm hungry, particularly if I'm on the road, like one handy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, pretty fast. I don't like to spill it.
So this has been answered for us, but will there be a second Fire to Fork recipe book? Love your work from New Zealand. That's Scott Rutherford.
Absolutely, Scott.
So there we go.
Coming soon.
Look out. I'm just asking every question. Funniest fan comment or message from Rory Larkin? Is there one that stands out that you had a good chuckle at?
Yeah, there's a guy, Josh Wolf, who regularly does these tongue-in-cheek things. He if you read one and you didn't read into it, you'd think he's the biggest troll and you think he just hates you.
Yeah.
And if you read into them with thinking, realizing that he knows me, they are hilarious.
Right, okay.
And he'll often message me and be like, too much? And I'm like, no, that was
Play on.
perfect. Thank you. That made my day.
This is something I wanted to ask actually in the main part, but do you have plans to go overseas and take Fire to Fork overseas at all for a trip, four-wheel driving trip, cooking trip, whatever? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You've got quite a few New Zealand fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Zealand definitely on the cards. Japan, I really want to do. 'Cause
Right.
Japanese food's my favourite.
That would
Yeah,
be-
Japan.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
actually we've spoken about that, haven't we? We
Yeah,
share
yeah,
that-
absolutely.
That love. Geez, there are so many. Delica's coming through here. Much more planned for the Delica.
Yeah,
Delica.
it's getting a new fit out in the next few weeks.
Yep.
And it'll be back regularly.
Righto. Geez, there's a lot on the
Refined
Delica.
Images AU said, you got a skull a beer if every time Harry mentions I was a general manager at a software company.
What have we had?
I think it's just one.
I think it's just one beer.
it's
It's
just
just one
one.
beer.
I'm not going to scull it, but I'll definitely crack a new tin. Shout out to Shelter.
This one's from Rafa, our friend.
Yeah, Rafa.
So Rafa's messaged in and said, "Are you free before the expo so I can cook you some proper Latin food?"
No, I'm actually not.
Just for you, Rafa, you're not. Sorry, mate.
If he comes to the Flinders Rangers before Adelaide, yes.
Yeah, he might be.
There's one from Recon Adventures. When will we see a return of the Evo Troopy?
The Evo Trophy, which is the Delica. Very soon, Jono, very soon.
Well, let us know, John, how you're going with the new high ace.
His van set up, yeah, it looks
yeah.
really
So
nice.
sick.
Yeah,
Looks really,
it's so
really
sick.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just slides in every now and then, John. It's like
He's a funny bloke. He's very dryly
Super dry.
funny.
Yeah.
Just when he put up that Troopy, like the new Troopy, and it's just
yeah.
the amount of replies to that. He just sending him through is just so funny.
Did you see the picture of the Delica when I first bought it? And it had like
Yeah.
an Evo front bar on it.
I can't remember. I probably haven't seen it.
I'll send you. I'll show you a picture later. It's so you can put it up on the screen. It's so good.
This one from Boa Marcus. I'm not sure I'm saying it, and I want to know this too. Thoughts on the Ineos?
Yeah, we were going to talk about that.
It is a fantastic car.
Yeah.
The steering is too slow.
Yes, I do agree.
Really slow. The lump isn't that annoying. It has some little idiosyncrasies that I don't like. I would own one absolutely in 3 years once we know more about reliability.
Okay.
Because
It's starting to climb my list as well.
it's very high.
You got a long list as
It's
well.
a long list.
You
But
got
it's
a
probably,
long
the
list.
Ineos is well and truly
Yeah,
at
it's up
the
there.
moment talking about it inside the top 3.
Would you
Quartermaster?
go-
Yes.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to ask that. Would
absolutely.
you go for a quartermaster over the
Quartermaster
Grenadier?
in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quartermaster, tray, canopy, the lot.
Yeah.
Would you ever buy a ute?
Oh, I'd love a full-size dual cab. I think it'd be so perfect for me, particularly because I tow. Dual cabs with canopies are perfect for towing because you can access everything from the side, not where the bloody thing's hitched on.
I've got 2
Interesting.
more to ask if you found others.
I've got a silly one that I was going to ask, but
Yeah.
Matt Chapper, would you rather fight one horse-sized mosquito or 100 mosquito-sized horses?
100 mosquito-sized horses. Imagine
Yeah.
how
I
satisfying
would
it
say-
would be to squash a horse.
100 mosquito-sized horses seems quite easy.
Yeah.
1,000 mosquito-sized horses?
Yeah, I still do it. Yeah. Give me those little horses. to
10,000
squish.
mosquito-sized horses. It doesn't matter.
They can't bite
It's
you.
so satisfying.
They're just horses.
They can't fly either, so just be ants.
Exactly.
I found 3 now that I want to quickly ask because this one sounds like they might know you. Loopy Fruit 4.
Yeah.
Is Cowboy Tuned your dad? Do you ever leave the Aldi car park with that pavement princess?
Tommy boy. Cowboy Tuned is my stepdad, so we have a very messed up
Right.
relationship.
Okay.
He's only like 2 years older than me.
There you go.
Maybe 3. I think he's like 3 years older than me. And no, I've never left the pavement. No, it's.
So is he the pavement princess?
No, I'm the pavement
Oh,
princess.
you're the
in
pavement
Prado.
princess.
The Prado's the
Prado.
pavement
Right,
princess.
okay,
the
that's
soccer
the-
mum car.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I just cut oranges for the kids at soccer in the Audi car park.
We got one from the Outer Side podcast. That's Tony.
Tony.
GME.
Yeah.
Are you listening to that one?
Oh, yeah. I have seen that. Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
favourite outdoors podcast and why is it the Outer Side?
No, I hate your podcast because I haven't been on it. So, yeah, we'll have to see if it's any good once I've been on it, mate. But yeah, that was
Tony.
good self plug there, Tony. I like
Good
it.
self-plug.
All right. Are we
No, you go.
2 to go?
Tony's good
go
at
for
plugging
him.
himself.
Righto. 3. This is from David Lodge. 3 best bits of dog training advice. Fred's a bloody well-trained cow.
Yeah, he's well trained, but he's still got a lot of prey drive. That's my only problem with him.
Okay.
Biggest pieces are don't ever feed them off your plate. So make sure they've got like a designated
Yep.
feeding time, so that way they don't steal food. Which means part of that is they should always eat after you, so they know their place in the pecking order. And that's another thing is make sure they know their place in the pecking order. A lot of separation anxiety and general dog anxiety comes from them thinking you're an idiot. If you're not assertive, if you let them walk all over you and do whatever they want, they get quite anxious because they suddenly go, we have to lead this pack because this guy's an idiot and he's incapable. So yeah, a lot of like anxious dogs come from. Dogs are not people, right? You need to be super assertive. You can't gentle parent a bloody dog. So that's that side of things. And the other thing is just never give in with the dog. Like you must be rock solid and consistent and don't break. Don't just like, oh, sometimes we'll feed him a bit under the table. Like, no.
Yeah, gotcha.
You've just set a new rule.
Yep.
You can't sometimes feed them under the table. They're opportunists and they have no pride. Like they're like, come on, give me. Still here. They're not embarrassed by just begging.
That's a good point.
No shame.
They've got no shame.
No
Dogs
shame.
have no shame when they shit in front of you.
And they make eye contact
Yeah,
with you
they
as
do.
well. They just
Yeah.
love it. They stare you down.
Yeah,
He'd
Blue does
just be
that.
sitting there chewing on his dick and then staring at you. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Go on, mate. Judge me.
Lauren can't watch Blue shit because it's just like, just look at him. And then Lauren's like turning away and Blue's
He's
like,
doing it. They're doing it for like.
good on him.
So do toddlers, by the way.
Yeah.
You'd be,
Oh,
you'd be
okay.
like having a conversation with my son. He'd be like, you do a poo? Yeah, done a poo. Good work.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Just
We don't-
direct
you want-
eye contact. Be halfway through a conversation, but and then the dinosaur.
When you got to go, mate.
100%.
Everybody shits.
Wish I could do that.
I found one more.
Yeah, you go, because our one's already been answered. I've
Yeah.
just figured out.
So this person sent in quite a few questions, but I think
Okay.
this is one that actually piqued my interest. Has anyone from the Tasmanian government spoken to you about filing issues here with permits? know what
Yeah,
that
I mean,
means.
so I got all the permits for Tassie. It cost me nearly $3,000 to film there. I spoke to them at length to get the permits. It was an absolute pain in the ass, and I absolutely let them have it afterwards on video. I applied to have it to get free permits, and they said no. It's just such a ridiculous system. You can't fly a drone there unless you have a permit. Whereas, like, you can fly a drone because you're not a YouTuber. But as soon as you make money off that footage,
Oh, okay.
you need all the permits, and
right.
you actually can't. Like, I needed like a full like aviation license,
Ah, there you go.
like a UAV license, which is $20,000 or something.
Right.
Like, not because you need like a full commercial license.
Yeah.
Not the semi-commercial. You need the full commercial. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
There you go.
yeah, nightmare.
So what
And-
if I filmed and then just happened to pass on my footage to you?
If I didn't pay you for it, it'd probably be all right.
Okay. Well, that would never happen because I'll be asking for coin now.
It's funny, like, I was even thinking about it. I was like, I've got footage from 5 years ago from my honeymoon that I could have used from my drone. I can't use it because I technically filmed it.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
rules.
Tassie.
Anyway.
Beautiful place.
I think
I'm happy.
we'll wrap it
Yeah,
up there.
I'm
I
happy.
think that we've taken up enough of your time,
been-
mate.
it's been a long
Appreciate
one.
you
That's been
coming in.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, that has been good, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Like
Mate,
I said,
thank
you're a
you.
bit under
No.
the weather. Crook.
Mate, thank
Yeah,
you. for
sorry
coming
about
in.
that.
Soldiered through.
Sorry about the wheezing and coughing.
No, you wouldn't
throughout
know.
it.
You wouldn't know.
Did you? I didn't even know you were doing that.
All right, cool. Good.
No,
That's
I
good.
can't hear it, mate.
Good to
Got
hear.
no
You're all
idea.
good. Dan, how you going over there, mate? You're
Dan's giving us a thumbs
okay.
up.
Good on you.
He loved it.
He's.
to push the button
I'm going to let you go again on the wrap up.
Oh, don't do that.
Thanks, Harry. Appreciate it,
No
mate.
worries, Doggo.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Jade.
Did you have
Thanks,
fun?
Jaden, for sitting
I
here.
did. It was good. It was
fun?
comfy.
Yeah.
Mate, anytime you want to drop past.
Oh, well.
We film Wednesday, 6 a.m.
I rode my bike here because it's so close to my house.
You did.
Oh,
Great
that's
bike.
That's a trap now.
By the way.
It is a good
We
bike.
had a good test of
bike.
that. Thanks for letting us have a test. That was
No
great.
worries.
Yeah.
All right.
Might test that
Hit the,
on the
hit,
way
the,
home.
hit the
Means I
button,
can have a
Dan.
couple of tins and ride
Hit the
home.
button.
Yeah, 100%.
That is the 4-Wheel Drive Podcast. Music by the Southern River Band, Let It Ride. You can find us on socials, 4-Wheel Drive Podcast on Instagram. Harry on Instagram as well, Fire to Fork. Go check him out on YouTube. We've
Do
got
that.
YouTube on Backchat, Patreon. Thank you. We'll have a little story for you after this. Thanks, Harry.
Cheers, guys.
On Harry, thank you.
See you again.